Chosen ones, stop scrolling right now. An explosive fight about you just went down, and it's because of the lies they've been telling about how they truly feel about you. Have you ever felt that strange, unsettling tension in the air, like you're in the middle of a silent battle you didn't even know you were fighting? Like people are talking about you, but not in a way that feels right. That's because you're a chosen one, and your light is so powerful that it's causing chaos in the shadows. A friend of mine, a true chosen one like you, kept getting these weird vibes from her so-called friends. They'd smile to her face, but she could feel the coldness behind their eyes. One day she overheard them talking. They were complaining about her success, her peace, and her unapologetic joy. And what did they say? It's just not fair. She acts like she has everything, and we're over here struggling. What they were really saying, without even realizing it, was that her light was exposing their own darkness. Her happiness was a mirror, reflecting back to them the things they weren't willing to work for. That's the lie they were telling themselves, that her peace was a personal attack on them. And guess what? This kind of spiritual warfare, this drama, it's a sign. It's a sign that you're on the right track. It's a sign that you're so aligned with your purpose that the universe is shaking things up around you. People who were once comfortable in their mediocrity or their lies are now being confronted by your truth. And because they're not ready to face it, they'd rather fight among themselves about you than admit the truth to themselves. As the great philosopher Maya Angelou once said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. In this case, their explosive reactions are showing you exactly who they are and who you are to them. So if you've been feeling this weird energy, if you've been picking up on these strange vibes, know this: you're not imagining things. A fight has happened about you. The drama is real. And it's all because they've been lying to themselves and to others about how they feel about you. They can't stand your light because it exposes their shadow. They can't stand your peace because it highlights their chaos. So they lie. They pretend you're not affecting them. They pretend they're happy for you, but their true feelings, like a stubborn weed, keep pushing through. Now, why are we talking about this? Because staying awake on your spiritual journey means recognizing these spiritual attacks for what they are. It means not getting sucked into the drama, but understanding its source. It means protecting your energy and your peace. So chosen ones, get ready to dive deep. You're about to understand exactly why this fight happened about you. Watch until the very end, because the insights in this video will not only help you stay awake, but will also equip you to handle this kind of spiritual foolishness with grace and power. Let's get into it. Point 1, the power of your presence. The sheer power of your presence as a chosen one is something most people can't quite put into words, but they feel it in their bones. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room or the flashiest person in the crowd. You carry something deeper, something unshakable. When you walk in, the entire atmosphere shifts, not because of what you say, but because of the energy you radiate. It's the quiet confidence, the unspoken wisdom, and the aura of someone who has walked through fire and come out refined. Spiritual researchers often call this vibrational frequency, and science backs it too. Our hearts emit an electromagnetic field measurable up to several feet away. So when you step into a room, your very being is literally influencing the energy field of everyone around you. That's why people can't help but notice you, even when you're silent. But here's the part many don't realize. Your presence acts like a spiritual mirror. You don't just enter a space. You reflect it. The light you carry, the peace you've fought for, and the authenticity you live with. All of that shines back at others. For those who are aligned and open, this feels magnetic, like they've finally met someone who gets it. But for those still wrestling with insecurities, fears, and unhealed wounds, your energy can be almost unbearable. It's as if your very existence exposes the lies they've been telling themselves. And instead of facing that uncomfortable truth, many take the easy way out. They project. That's when the whispers, the sideways glances, and the unnecessary judgments begin. The irony is, none of it is truly about you, it's about them. Your energy represents what they could be if they were willing to step out of their comfort zone and confront their shadows. You are living proof that transformation is possible, and for someone clinging to excuses, That's threatening. Psychologists have long noted this phenomenon. When confronted with something that challenges our identity, many people default to defense mechanisms like criticism, denial, or projection. So when people throw negativity your way, it's not because you've failed, it's because you've succeeded in embodying something they're not ready to face. Chosen one often wonders, why me? Why does my presence stir so much in others? The truth is, light has always provoked darkness. Think about it. When you flip on a lamp in a dark room, shadows instantly scramble to the corners. In the same way, your presence forces people's hidden insecurities and unresolved pain into the open. Some will be inspired to rise to the challenge, but others will resist, preferring to stay in the shadows. That resistance looks like envy, gossip, or even outright hostility. But none of it diminishes your light. It only proves how brightly you're shining. So instead of internalizing the judgment, wear it like armor. See it for what it is. Confirmation that your energy is doing exactly what it's meant to do. Wake people up. You're not here to dim your light, just to make others comfortable. You're here to keep shining, to keep raising the vibration, and to keep being that mirror. And yes, it's uncomfortable for others, but that discomfort is exactly what sparks growth. You're not a problem. They are being confronted with their own reflection. And here's the empowering truth. Your presence is not just noticed, it's remembered. Long after you've left the room, people replay the way they felt around you. Whether it inspired them, unsettled them, or even irritated them, you left a mark. That's the undeniable power of a chosen one. You don't just walk through the world, you shift it. You remind people, whether they like it or not, of who they truly are and who they could become. And that right there is why your presence is both a blessing and a challenge. It's why you stand out. It's why you were chosen. Point 2, your light exposes their lies. When you step into your identity as a chosen one, something fascinating happens. Your very presence becomes a mirror. You don't even have to say a word. Just by being who you are, authentically and unapologetically, you end up reflecting truths that other people have been trying to bury for years. This is why the second point is so crucial. Your light exposes their lies. And let's be clear, this isn't about arrogance or trying to outshine anyone. It's about alignment. When you are aligned with your purpose, your joy, and your inner peace, that energy is impossible to fake. And it makes people who are faking it deeply uncomfortable. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone claim they're happy where they're at, or just fine with their situation, when their eyes, their energy, and their daily complaints tell a completely different story? These are the little white lies we all tell ourselves from time to time. But when a chosen one walks in the room, radiating genuine joy, confidence, and direction, those flimsy lies get stripped bare. It's like holding a candle in the dark. Suddenly, the shadows have nowhere to hide. Your authenticity is so bright that it highlights every crack in their carefully built facade. Take relationships, for example. Someone might stay in a toxic partnership, convincing themselves that it's not that bad or things will change. Then they see you, living free, whole, and peaceful, whether single or in a healthy bond, and suddenly the truth they've been avoiding hits them. Or maybe they've been pretending to love a job that drains their spirit, telling themselves they're satisfied because the paycheck looks nice. Then they look at you, walking in your purpose, glowing with fulfillment, and they can't deny the contrast. Your life becomes living proof that they've been lying to themselves, and that sting is sharper than anything you could ever say. But here's where it gets even deeper. When people can't admit the truth about themselves, they often redirect that discomfort onto you. Instead of saying, wow, their happiness reminds me that I need to make changes in my life, they'll say things like, they think they're better than everyone, or something about them just feels off. It's not really about you, it's about the war they're fighting within themselves. Your light has stirred up their shadows, and instead of facing their inner demons, it's easier to project resentment onto you. Psychologists even talk about this phenomenon as cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort people feel when they're confronted with evidence that contradicts their beliefs. If someone has been telling themselves they're fulfilled, but your presence screams, this is what true fulfillment looks like, their brain scrambles for a way to reconcile that gap. Some people get inspired, others get jealous, and sadly, many choose to mask their discomfort by gossiping about you, competing with you, or secretly hoping you'll fall. But here's the beauty of it all. You don't even need to fight back. You don't need to defend yourself or dim your glow to make them feel comfortable. Because the truth is, your light doesn't just expose lies, it also has the power to awaken. Sometimes the very people who resent you at first will later admit that you inspired them to finally break free, leave that toxic situation, or chase the dream they've been too afraid to pursue. So remember this: the fact that your light unsettles people is not a curse, it's confirmation. It means you're walking in truth so pure, so undeniable, that it forces people to confront themselves. And while some may fight you for it, others will thank you for it. Because chosen ones don't just shine for themselves. They shine to illuminate paths for others, whether those others are ready to admit it or not. Point 3. The spirit of envy and its chaos. Envy is one of the oldest and most dangerous spiritual forces that has walked with humanity since the beginning of time. It isn't just someone wishing they had what you have, it runs much deeper. Envy carries a bitterness, a resentment, and an almost uncontrollable urge to tear down the person who holds the blessing. When the spirit of envy takes root in someone's heart, it doesn't stay quiet. It festers, grows, and eventually spills over into actions, words, and conflict. That's why when you notice people suddenly fighting, gossiping, or creating unnecessary drama about you, it's not just random chaos. It's the spiritual symptom of envy manifesting in real time. They don't even realize they've become vessels for this energy. What they call just venting or just speaking their mind is really envy pushing itself into the open, and the irony is their own meltdown becomes evidence of your light and your favor. You see, envy is tricky because it disguises itself. Rarely will someone walk up and say, "I'm envious of you." Instead, they'll project it in subtle digs, fake compliments, or backhanded remarks. Psychology even shows that envy activates the same neural pathways as physical pain, meaning people literally hurt when they see you shining in ways they cannot. Spiritually, that hurt transforms into resentment, and when it's bottled up long enough, it explodes. Sometimes as an argument, sometimes as gossip, sometimes as a sudden smear campaign against your character. But here's the part they don't realize. Every time they expose that envy, they're actually confirming your greatness. Their reaction is proof that you carry something they cannot ignore. Chosen ones, you need to understand your blessings stir up envy because they reveal contrast. Your life, your energy, your progress, all of it highlights what others feel they lack. Instead of seeing you as inspiration, some allow envy to twist it into hostility. This is why people will randomly bring your name into conversations, fight about you, or spread rumors. They are wrestling with the fact that your light exposes their shadows. The Bible itself warns of envy, calling it rottenness to the bones, Proverbs 14:30. It doesn't just harm relationships, it eats away at the envious person's own spirit until they're consumed by it. That's why their drama looks so chaotic, because internally they are at war with themselves. But here's the powerful truth. Their envy is also a signal. It's a loud, undeniable sign that you are walking in alignment with your purpose. Nobody envies mediocrity. Nobody fights over someone who is going nowhere. Envy is drawn to greatness, to potential, to divine favor. So when people are fighting about you, trying to discredit you, or stirring chaos in your name, it's because you've stepped into a level of anointing they can't ignore. The enemy uses envy as a tool to distract you, to pull your focus, and to drag you into petty battles. But as a chosen one, your response must be different. Don't react. Don't shrink. Don't give their chaos the fuel it craves. Stand still, stay grounded, and let them reveal themselves. At the end of the day, their messy fights and dramatic outbursts are nothing more than free advertising for your greatness. They prove that you're carrying something worth talking about. And while they're busy exhausting themselves with envy, you're busy walking forward, protected, elevated, and unstoppable. So the next time you hear your name stirring chaos, don't panic, smile. Because even in their envy, they've testified. You are chosen, you are favored, and you are walking in undeniable light. Point 4, the divine protection around you. Here's some good news and a huge point of reassurance. There is a divine protection around you. Chosen ones, you are not out there wandering aimlessly or standing unshielded against the storms of life. You are covered, you are guided. And yes, you are protected in ways you might not even see. The very reason so much of the conflict, gossip, and chaos seems to happen around you instead of directly touching you is because you are shielded. God, the universe, your spiritual team, whatever name speaks to your soul, has placed a spiritual armor on you that cannot be penetrated by ordinary attacks. Think about it. Have you noticed how often people argue about you, fight because of you, or even compete with you? Yet somehow you're not standing in the line of fire. That's not luck. That's divine orchestration. The energy surrounding your life is vibrating at a higher frequency, and those who try to pull you into their chaos simply can't reach you. It's like you're tuned to a different radio station. While they're stuck in static, you're receiving a crystal clear signal. This is why the lies they spread don't stick. The gossip about your name eventually falls flat. Even when people plot against you, it seems to backfire. Why? Because you're not walking in the same frequency as the chaos makers. They operate in confusion, anger, envy, and bitterness, while you're rooted in peace, alignment, and divine order. It's almost like they're swinging their swords through air, while you're standing untouchable, surrounded by a spiritual shield. Psychologists call this the observer effect in human dynamics. People project their inner turmoil outward. The drama they try to attach to your name isn't really about you, it's a reflection of their own inner chaos. Spiritually, though, the lesson goes even deeper. You are protected not only because you are chosen, but also because you have an assignment. Your life isn't random. You are here with purpose, which means the forces of light have every reason to guard you. Just like a soldier is given armor in battle, you've been given protection in your journey. And here's something fascinating. When you step into higher spiritual alignment, you naturally repel negativity. It's not even about effort. Light simply makes darkness uncomfortable. If you've ever noticed people suddenly growing distant, irritated, or even hostile when you're around, it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because your frequency exposes the dissonance in theirs. You carry truth, and truth makes falsehood scatter. Chosen ones, this is why you can walk through chaos without chaos walking through you. This is why you can feel at peace even when storms rage. Your inner alignment becomes an invisible force field, and yes, people may not understand it. They may whisper, "Why does nothing ever break them? Why do they always come out untouched?" But you know the answer. You are covered. Let's take a biblical parallel. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. The lions were hungry, the threat was real, but divine protection shut their mouths. That's what's happening in your life. The lions may surround you, but they cannot consume you. The traps may be set, but you will not fall into them. Why? Because you're on a mission bigger than their schemes. So instead of worrying when drama rises around you, see it for what it truly is. Proof that your spiritual armor is strong. Proof that you're not walking alone. Proof that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. This doesn't mean life will be free from challenges, but it does mean that challenges will not define you, they'll refine you. Remember, chosen one, your frequency is your fortress. The chaos is around you, not in you. You are aligned, grounded, and divinely shielded. And when you walk in that truth, every battle becomes another testimony. Point 5. Your journey is their trigger. Every step forward on the path of a chosen one is not just movement, it's a mirror. You may think you're simply aligning with your higher self, following your purpose or practicing peace, but to others, your progress feels like a spotlight exposing what they've refused to confront within themselves. That's why your growth triggers their shadows. When you practice self-love, it reminds them of the self-neglect they've normalized. When you create calmness in your world, it exposes the chaos they refuse to let go of. Your journey becomes their trigger because it silently asks the question they've been running from: why haven't you chosen better for yourself? This isn't just spiritual poetry, it's human psychology. According to Carl Jung, what we dislike in others often reflects the parts of ourselves we've repressed or denied. So when people gossip about you or pick fights with you for no apparent reason, it's rarely about you. It's about the unhealed wounds inside of them that your very existence shines a light on. You're not out here flaunting, yet your simple act of choosing authenticity makes them uncomfortable, because authenticity dismantles excuses. You become living evidence that healing, peace, and transformation are possible, and that truth shakes the foundation of their carefully built denial. Think about it. When you finally start loving yourself enough to set boundaries, suddenly you're called selfish. When you walk away from toxic environments, you're labeled difficult or fake. When blessings flow your way after years of hard work, whispers start spreading that you got lucky or changed. But these aren't reflections of your character, they're projections of theirs. Their bitterness is a symptom of comparison. You remind them of what they could be if they had the courage to face their pain instead of numbing it. Spiritually, this is why the chosen are often isolated. Not because you're unlovable, but because your light exposes where love is absent. Your blessings amplify the inner poverty of those who never chose to seek God or self-growth. Even Scripture shows this pattern. Joseph's brothers weren't angry at him because he was arrogant. They were angry because his dreams highlighted their own lack of vision. Likewise, your calling irritates those who have silenced theirs. The irony is that your growth could inspire them if they chose humility over envy. But envy is easier. It requires no effort, no discipline, and no reflection. That's why people weaponize gossip and lies. They think tearing you down will relieve the pressure of rising themselves. Yet the truth is, their words cannot derail what God has ordained. Your journey will keep unfolding, whether they clap or curse, because divine alignment is not up for debate. So understand this, chosen one. When their whispers grow louder, it's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's confirmation you're doing something right. Your life has become a living sermon, one that exposes complacency and calls others to rise. That's why they fight you, not because you're weak, but because you're proof of what's possible. And deep down, nothing terrifies the stuck more than possibility. Point 6. The importance of spiritual discernment. Discernment is one of the most powerful yet underestimated tools a chosen one can carry because it shapes how you navigate life's hidden battles. Most people live reacting to the surface of situations, when gossip circles their name, when drama erupts in the room, or when a shift in energy makes them uncomfortable. The instinctive response is often to get defensive, angry, or drained, but discernment teaches you to pause, step back, and ask a deeper question. What's really happening here? This pause isn't weakness, it's power. In truth, those moments are rarely about the words themselves. They are spiritual tests, subtle invitations to step into chaos or to remain anchored in peace. That co-worker who suddenly acts cold may not be reacting to you at all. It may be an unseen energy test, an opportunity to prove whether you'll be pulled into pettiness or remain steady in your higher frequency. Discernment allows you to recognize that not every attack is meant to be answered, and not every storm requires you to step outside and get drenched. Throughout history, spiritual traditions have identified discernment as the mark of wisdom. In Christianity, the Bible urges believers to test the spirits, 1 John 4:1, reminding us that not every influence, voice, or thought that enters our mind is divinely inspired. Some are distractions, some are deceptions, and some are outright traps meant to derail us. This aligns closely with the modern concept of emotional intelligence in psychology, the ability to perceive what is truly driving someone's behavior rather than reacting to the immediate outburst. But discernment goes further. It is spiritual intelligence. It is the lens that allows you to recognize when a situation is a direct attack on your peace, rather than a reflection of your identity. This awareness keeps you from being swept into unnecessary conflicts and preserves your energy for what truly matters. A chosen one learns that not every battle is theirs to fight, not every insult requires a reply, and not every opportunity is meant to be pursued. When discernment sharpens, it transforms your vision. You begin to see patterns that others overlook. You notice how that friend who always plants doubt seems to do it right after you share good news, or how a compliment from someone carries a subtle trace of envy in its tone. You recognize the sudden wave of confusion that crashes over you right before making a pivotal decision. These are not random occurrences, they are signals in the unseen realm. Discernment becomes like spiritual radar, alerting you when to move forward boldly, when to create distance, and when to remain silent. Just as radar allows ships to see through fog, discernment helps you see through the haze of manipulation, jealousy, and hidden agendas. Think of it like night vision goggles. Where most people see only darkness, you perceive outlines. Where others hear only noise, you pick out the melody of truth. This is one reason chosen ones are often misunderstood. While others react to shadows, you discern the source of the light. This ability makes you seem detached or overly cautious to some. But in reality, you are simply tuned to a higher awareness. It's not that you don't care, it is that you care enough to protect your peace and remain aligned with your calling. The true enemy of your purpose rarely comes roaring through the front door. More often it slips in disguised as distraction, flattery, or opportunity. The job offer that looks perfect but would pull you away from your destiny, the friendship that feels exciting but drains your spirit, the temptation that seems harmless but slowly erodes your character. These are the subtle snares discernment helps you detect. It whispers, pause, look again. This isn't what it appears to be. By heeding that inner nudge, you preserve your energy, guard your vision, and avoid battles that were never yours to fight. So when the drama comes knocking, when gossip stirs, or when an atmosphere shifts against you, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, lean into discernment. Let it guide you to clarity while others are swallowed by confusion. That restraint, that silence, that ability to stand calm when everyone else is in chaos, that is the mark of a chosen one. Your true strength lies not in how loudly you respond, but in how deeply you perceive. Discernment is the quiet force that elevates you above noise, shields your spirit, and keeps your destiny intact. And in a world where many are lost to distraction, the chosen one who discerns becomes unshakable, untouchable, and undeniably powerful. Point 7, your ultimate power is in your peace. When the world erupts in noise around you, when whispers swell into shouts and people drag your name into conflicts you never asked for, the true mark of a chosen one is not found in retaliation. It is found in restraint. That might sound counterintuitive at first, because we live in a culture that glorifies clapbacks, public confrontations, and the idea of defending your name. But the paradox of real power is that it doesn't come from proving yourself in the arena of gossip or from dismantling every accusation hurled your way. It comes from refusing to even step foot in that arena. When you remain silent in the middle of chaos, when you stand still while others flail, rage, and scream, you demonstrate a mastery they cannot even begin to fathom. They thrive on attention, on reaction, on dragging you into their storm. But you have learned to stand in the calm eye of the storm, unmoved, while the winds howl around you, and that is where your true strength shines. If you look closely at history, you'll see this pattern repeated again and again. The most powerful figures, prophets, and leaders often triumphed not by endless debates, but by embodying their truth with quiet conviction. Jesus, when falsely accused, often answered with silence or with words so brief they cut deeper than 1,000 arguments. Gandhi reminded the world that peace is its own reward, a statement that reveals peace is not weakness or passivity, but a deliberate act of spiritual warfare. Choosing peace is a conscious decision to protect your energy, guard your spirit, and sidestep the traps that are carefully designed to make you stumble. To walk away is not to surrender, it is to claim victory on a higher plane. Every time you refuse to engage, you are declaring that you will not trade your spiritual wealth for someone else's spiritual poverty. Psychologists even affirm this truth. Human beings are wired to crave validation, especially in moments of conflict. Social psychologists have studied what's known as the provocation effect, which shows that people who instigate drama are actually seeking a reaction. They want evidence that they've gotten under your skin. The moment you flare up in anger or rush to defend yourself, you confirm that they have power over your emotions. But when you respond with silence, when you choose calm over fury, you effectively starve them of the fuel they need. Their weapons lose their edge the moment you refuse to pick them up. And strangely enough, silence has a way of echoing far louder than any defense you could construct. It makes others question themselves, it shifts the atmosphere, and it leaves those who tried to shake you unsettled by your unshakable stillness. This is why your peace, chosen one, is not just a luxury, it is your spiritual currency, your divine badge of honor. Every time you keep it intact, you are adding to your wealth in ways unseen. You are not operating from a place of lack, desperation, or fear. You are operating from abundance. And here's the irony, the very people who seek to rob you of your peace are often doing so because they are tormented by their own emptiness. Their gossip, their hostility, and their attempts to stir you up are reflections of what they are missing within themselves. Don't let their emptiness become your burden. If you take it on, you become just as restless, just as bound. But if you refuse it, if you let their storm rage while you remain grounded, you expose the hollowness of their efforts. Think of your peace as armor, polished not by battles you fought, but by battles you wisely chose to walk away from. The drama swirling in rooms you'll never step into, the whispered conversations that ignite at the mention of your name, the conflicts that spring up simply because of your presence. These are not indicators that you're weak or disliked. Quite the opposite. They are signals that your light unsettles the shadows around you. They are evidence that your spirit carries a weight others cannot explain. And that's why you must protect your peace with everything you have. For while the world measures strength by battles won, the divine measures it by peace kept. That, chosen one, is your ultimate victory, the quiet kind that echoes across eternity, reminding everyone that true strength isn't about making noise, but about mastering silence. So, chosen ones, if you felt this energy, know that it's a powerful confirmation of your path. A fight happened about you because they've been lying about how they feel, and their lies have finally come to a head. Stay awake, stay discerning, and most importantly, stay in your peace. Your journey is unfolding beautifully, and no amount of drama can change that. I hope this helped you understand what's really going on behind the scenes. If it resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more spiritual insights, and share it with another chosen one who needs to hear this. Remember, your light is a beacon, and it's attracting exactly what you need to grow and evolve.